Well, welcome to The Journey. My name is Kevin Polkey, and I am the host of The Journey. And today we are going to do a reflection. It is the beginning of May, and May is been set aside as Mental Health Awareness Month. What exactly does that mean? And I think for me, that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Um, it may be raising awareness about mental illness and what things, how prevalent it is, the impact of mental illness, what we can do if you are suspecting yourself of having a mental illness or of a loved one, family member that could use some assistance regarding a potential diagnosis of a mental illness and a treatment of a mental illness. It also could be, for some, it may be a result of trauma, and it could be raising that awareness of the impact of trauma. At Four Corners, we think of it from a standpoint of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual development of the whole person being developed in all four areas of their life. Since KP, when I started KP counseling 25 years ago, and then after leaving KP and then being at Four Corners full time for the last 2 years, we'll talk with therapists that uh, very seldom does someone come into our office for counseling that they are walking in with a mental illness. Yes, there may have been a diagnosis prior to them coming to see us, but people are not walking illness. They're ordinary people who are struggling with everyday problems. And our job is either from a counseling perspective or a coaching perspective, we're just trying to help those individuals um, identify those symptoms, minimize the impact of those symptoms, address those symptoms, and then um, transition into actually being the best version of themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. When we think about the idea of mental health, it's really very much like physical health. As you've heard me talk about this before, this idea that we are exercising our ability to take care of our way of emotional regulating. That when we are finding ourselves in a threatening situation, psychologically threatening or physically threatening, what are we doing to regulate ourselves to get into that rest and digest after being in that fight or flight um, mode? That we're moving from a, a fear mindset or that fight or flight mindset where we're looking at that external locus of control, moving toward an internal locus of control, a growth mindset, and living more from a perspective of abundance versus scarcity. That this month is set aside for us to have conversations to not only raise our own awareness and exercising how are we improving our own individual mental health, but then how are we aware of individuals around us that how to be sensitive to where they're at, to be in tune to where they're at, and how can we empathize with that and empathize with other individuals where they may be struggling with something. I came across something just recently and posted it and reminded me of a good way to start off this month about raising our awareness of our mental health and being intentional about that, as well as being intentional about being aware of other people's mental health. This particular quote from an unknown author says, "No one has a perfect life. Everyone is fighting battles you can't see. So choose kindness, patience, and gratitude today. A soft heart is still a beautiful strength in a hard world." Let me read that again. No one has a perfect life. Everyone is fighting battles you can't see. So choose kindness, patience, and gratitude today. A soft heart is still a beautiful strength in a hard or dark world. Again, the themes that we talk about many times here at Four Corners, as well as Shatter Our Silence and On the Journey, was this idea that if we are working at uh, taking care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and growing in those areas for our light to continue growing, illuminate in the darkness, but then also that we can be a light when someone else may be struggling as well. As always, hope you have a wonderful day and look forward to being with you next week.